Alright guys, welcome. I'm making this video to talk about a big problem. It's about a pattern which I've seen a lot of guys have in common, which is around the pump and dump mindset. And this is about, picking products, marketing them, and even making their website. So what do I mean by pump and dump mindset? It's a trap which everyone's conditioned into when getting into dropshipping, so myself included. When I got into this organic dropshipping game, I was taught by the most average guru that the best way to start is to download these apps, which will find me the product, will make my website, will fulfill the products for me and everything. All I have to do is, copy what's viral and then print. Now, if you've already gone through this process, you would know that this doesn't just simply work. It's more than just picking a product and marketing it and going viral. It's about picking a product which doesn't always necessarily have to be the talk of the people at the moment. So this shiny object syndrome game, which everyone goes after especially when starting, is the biggest waste of time because you just jump from one product to another and then you just keep on doing this cycle over and over again. So if you have already gone through this video is for you, because myself included, 2 years later, I decided to pick a product which has been around for a while, has a proven concept, but then I wanted to market it in a different way, and then I turned it into a winner. So I want to talk about the mindset of looking at products, okay, and then even the websites, because whenever someone joins my affiliate program, I see their website, the product, and so on. The product is usually not the problem. It's more about the way they market the product and even the website. So let me explain what I mean by burner or pump and dump mindset. What I mean by it is, since you've seen a lot of dropshipping accounts, naturally you just start copying them one by one. So this applies to the website, to the marketing angle, even the clothing, everything. So at this point, you're just copying the 99%. And this way, there's almost no way for you to stand out. In other words, to look like an authentic brand. So that's a problem, because at one point, if you're running a very good product, which is currently a trend or saturated, and then you're just following their angle, you're not finding an untapped angle for the product, then how can you overcome or outcompete them without either you creating a higher quality content or a branded looking website slash landing page, which is the Instagram, and so on. So you need a brand, right? This sugar coating around your product, which is called brand, is what actually makes you become the 1%. And that's what we're talking about today. So you need this vision, this eye of picking the product and then marketing it and ultimately creating a website which will portray this brand to the viewer. So next time you pick a product or even market it, you need to question yourself, how can I stand out? How can I actually make this look outstanding and not just copy the 99%? Because everyone just copies everything. And what this causes is, because you're doing the pump and dump method, you're just following the attention, you're actually leaving the good products for people like us. So I literally have a lot of products in mind which are very low key. They never go viral, maybe once every 2 months, and they're making 10K plus consistently. Why are they doing that? Because they've been doing it long enough, they've created this compounding effect, they have built a brand, and their website is outstanding, everything's on point. They have systems, they have email lists, everything. And yeah, it doesn't even require you to go viral, you just need volume of quality. So you post like 5 to 10 times a day of high quality content, and then you just eventually start printing. So it's no longer about the shiny object syndrome products. It's never been, in fact. I would argue these pump and dump products, the very trendy attention seeking products, are only rewarding for people who are advanced. I'll give you a good example. Advent calendars. Whenever it's around Christmas time, everyone starts marketing Advent calendars. I'd argue only maybe 1% of creators actually print with it. And those 1% are either the earliest to start, but also the luckiest in terms of who has the best account and the most knowledge. But then I want to highlight that the knowledge should be number one. So whoever is the most advanced in terms of creating content, priming their accounts, maybe they have already primed accounts which they recycle, which is why I said luck. So luck applies to the account, whether you create a new account which just blows up quickly, or you prime an old account which is just ready to go viral. So if you have these factors, you're gonna make it and others won't. So that's why 99% of people, they either waste their time during prime time, like Christmas time, running these shiny products and eventually quit. But then, if you keep on persisting until you actually find the winner, then you're gonna eventually become the 1%. Okay, that's one thing I want to highlight. So don't worry. If you've been here, and trust me, everyone has been here, myself included, if you do it long enough, you're gonna reach this point where you have a winner, and it doesn't need to be necessarily a shiny product which everyone admires or thinks of running it because they know it. It's like the trend of the moment. In fact, a lot of these 1% products are actually very low key. So next time you find or go on your Burnham account, you want to look for products which are around for a while. So the concept of the product has been around. It doesn't need to be the product itself literally, just the idea of the product. Has it been around for a while? Has it been performing in the past? A very good example which I like to give is the camera which you put on your chest. I tested this personally last year. It's still a winner till this day. And a big factor to why it's a winning product is because although it's a pump and dump product, it has a lot of different angles to market. So it's a very flexible product. This is one of the traits which allows you to turn a pump and dump product to a branded product, because you can pick an untapped angle, double down on it, and then the branding is just the sugar coating. Once again, it's just like the way you design the product to make it look better than what it really is. So everyone's selling the same thing, but then if you make the perceived value of the product through the marketing, but also through the AI images on your website, outstand others or outcompete others, then that's a brand. Okay, so that's really important. Concept. So what do I mean by concept in terms of this is that eventually you're gonna find different products which has a camera. For example, glasses with a camera here, right? We've seen this before. This is gonna be a winner as well because it's the same idea. It's a wearable glasses which you could go out with and record. So based off old winners, you could have a conclusion whether a new product which is currently going viral will actually print or not. That's the number one thing you want to look for. Number two is the flexibility, once again, of the product. Okay. Concept means the time, has the product idea been around for a while, and has it always been performing well? If yes, that's it. This also applies to brands. Maybe you find products which has been active for 2 years straight. That's also under the criteria, which is concept. So now we have concept, flexibility, and lastly is a very optional one, but if you can customize a product. If you can customize it, it's going to be even better. But I want you to have these in mind when looking for products, okay? I think it's mostly in the concept. The concept is the most important thing. In fact, that's why people who have been in the game for a very long time, they have a better eye for picking products because they've seen it all. They've seen all the trends come and go, and they've seen what actually printed. Therefore, whatever comes as a new trend, they will relate it with an old trend, and they'll be like, okay, this will actually print. So this is actually going to do the heavy lifting. This is the number one trait of the 1% products. So that's how you should be thinking about the product. Now let's go to the marketing. Why is it bad to copy others in terms of marketing? Because I'll give you a good example regarding the 3-2-1 format. Oftentimes everyone just copying each other with this format in particular, and it doesn't portray professionalism. So it depends on the product, right? If you're running like a blanket, perhaps it's best for you to do that because there's actually a psychological trick behind it, which is making it work in the first place. A lot of guys who run this format, for example, they don't even know why it's working. The reason it actually works is because it makes you look like a small business, like a admiring business who's trying to make, this blanket, which is custom, actually work. So it actually works in the art niche. That's why it works. But then everyone just took it to products which has nothing to do with it, with this psychological idea, and then they expect it to work. So perhaps you're gonna go viral, but then half of your views are burn accounts, and yeah, that's why you never convert. So you need to understand, why is the format working? Will it actually make sense for my product? How can I even take it to the next level? So I've actually known some people who did the 3-to-1 format and actually printed. They have done it with, specific products, which once again made sense with the format. So that's one. And then number two is the quality of the content. You need to put yourself in the shoes of the customer. When they see the product, do they really want to buy it? Oftentimes I see a lot of, these pump and dump accounts, which shows purely just the product. They don't even try to make it look like a high perceived value product. And that's how you should think about your product. You need to make it outshine others. So this is something which is really important. Quality or high perceived value. And you could apply this to even simple formats like the 3-to-1. I've actually seen some people who did the 3-to-1, they did it with a high perceived value angle, and they made it work, So these are some ways to outshine others in terms of how you pick the product, how you market it. And let's get to the website. The website is the favorite part personally, because in my opinion, that's how you could actually make a product look like a brand. So the website is about a few things, right? First of all, you need a logo. Okay, so create this logo, stick to it. If you actually found the winner, long enough, people will actually start becoming more familiar with the name, and they're gonna gain more trust over it. So that's the number one, obviously, the logo. Number two is the website. Website is literally a canvas where you could just draw on it. Okay, the more creative, the better. So this is art, and unfortunately, it's no longer about you drawing the piece of art or the canvas. It's about the AI drawing it for you. So nowadays, you need to use AI for pretty much everything in terms of the website. So try to create the best quality images or even videos for the website to outshine others. And then if you're wondering which AI tool should you use, it's definitely going to have to be AI Studio. And I would say CapCut also is arguably better with the Photoshop feature, because it uses Nano Banana Pro, so it's the same thing. But for some reason, it's even better. So I would use CapCut and AI Studio. Now, here's a secret to why I always stress about the website and the importance of the website. The main difference between organic and paid ads is that they're paying to get the sessions. So for them to make up for that cost, they need to increase their CVR. Therefore, they put a lot of effort into making the high CVR websites, often in the form of funnels where they make an advertorial, which is a page dedicated to making the viewer see that they have something that they need. So essentially what they're doing is they're trying to make the customer or the viewer be aware of a problem that they can fix, right? So if we know that these paid ads guys are actually making the best high converting websites because they're trying to make up for the cost of their advertisements, then why not put more effort into our website to increase our CVR? There's literally no difference. I'm not trying to say you need to funnel, but you could actually put a lot more effort into your website to create some AI images, make sure that you have compelling copywriting to actually show the way the customer will feel or how they will look like when they order the product. So that's some important note I really wanted to share, is that there's minimal difference between us and paid ads guys. We just need to take our game to the next level, by creating better presentable websites, better branded websites. Therefore, we're going to increase our CVR. And that's what I did in Q4, and that's what worked for me. So that was just my final note for the day. Hopefully, this has been eye-opening. If you've been, testing the pump and dump for a while, trust me, we all did. Then hopefully this was eye-opening. If it was helpful, you can join my Discord free and subscribe. And also we have an affiliate program where we're actually going to be launching a new product in March. Very exciting project. So it's going to be the first to be seen. So if you're actually interested, let me know on Discord as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.